So Wicked, or Wicked Part 1, is the first part of a two-part musical that is an adaptation of the musical of the same name, which I also believe was an adaptation of the 1995 book Wicked, if I'm not mistaken. In the film, we follow two characters, one of whom is Elphaba, portrayed by Cynthia Erivo, and the other, Glenda, portrayed by Ariana Grande, who meet and become friends at Shiz University. However, after an encounter with a particular character, their friendship reaches a crossroads. Before I continue on with today's video, I just wanted to say, welcome to my channel, everybody. For those of you who are coming back to my channel for the very first time, be sure to hit the subscribe button to them as a feature video, where it's a feature review, a reaction, a top 5, or whatever I have coming your way, and join me on my journey to 10K subscribers and beyond, because believe me when I say this, guys, you are not going to miss the cool stuff I have coming your way. And for those of you who are coming back to my channel, by the way, welcome back, everybody. You have no idea how happy I'm to see your faces once again, and let's start our conversation below. What did you guys think of Wicked? Did you guys love the film? Did you just like it? Did you even hate the film? Let me know below. Alrighty, guys, so let's get into Wicked Part 1.
Excellent!
For those of you who know me very well, or for those of you who know me personally, when it comes to genres of film, musicals are the genre of film that I just don't watch a lot. And it's not that I dislike or that I hate musicals. I actually quite like musicals. As a matter of fact, guys, there are some musicals out there that are legitimately some of my favorite films. There are a couple of things that if you want me to watch a musical to get my interest, there's a couple of things that have to grab my attention. One of them being the plot or the subject matter, and two is the people behind it. Wicked is a movie that I had not read the book, nor had I seen the play. I had not seen either one. But here's the thing. When it comes to musicals, or just movies that I love, period, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Wizard of Oz. I mean, The Wizard of Oz was such an important movie for me as a kid when I was growing up. I mean, I watched that movie so many freaking times. It's not even funny. And I still watch it to this day. I mean, The Wizard of Oz is one of those important films that changed the film industry. The Wizard of Oz, I have literally a 10-man figure right over here. I would show it, but I don't know where the hell it is. You know what? Give me 1 second, because I gotta show this thing. I literally own a 10-man figurine, and it stands right on my desk. That is how much I adore The Wizard of Oz. This was a movie that when I saw the trailer to this movie, I was like, okay, this could be good, but it's also a musical. And knowing me, I have to really be into it. Before I saw this movie, I saw so much praise for this movie. Like, there are some people that I know that were absolutely praising this movie so much. Some people calling it a masterpiece. Some people calling it one of the greatest musicals of all time. And so, as you can all imagine, the hype and the buzz was way, way up there. Now, how did I feel about Wicked? Guys, I really enjoyed Wicked a lot. Do I have some things to say later on about Wicked? Yes, I do have things to say, but in terms of my pros, I can confidently say that I really enjoyed Wicked a lot. All of the performances here are fantastic, seriously, guys. Whether it's Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, not to mention as well Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh, Peter Dinklage. I absolutely loved Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba, who becomes, as you guys are fully well aware, the Wicked Witch of the West. I mean, seriously, guys, if you have not seen The Wizard of Oz, go watch the movie right now before you see Wicked. I'm just saying, guys. Knowing what I do know in The Wizard of Oz of what that character is in that moment of time, Cynthia Erivo, I thought was so damn great as Elphaba, especially seeing her character journey and especially seeing her friendship with Glenda, portrayed brilliantly, by the way, by Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande, I'm not going to guys why I say this. When it comes down to her music, I'm not the biggest fan of Ariana Grande when it comes to her music, as that genre of music, it's not something to listen to. I mean, for those of you who know me very well, my favorite genre is metal. I mean, Metallica is my favorite band of all time. But I will say this much, guys. When it comes down to her performance as Glenda in this movie, or Glenda, either one, Ariana Grande is absolutely terrific in the film. Not only does Ariana Grande have great dramatic sensibilities, but she has some pretty darn good comedic sensibilities. I mean, there are some moments where I found myself chuckling a lot more than once this movie due to her. As you can imagine, when it comes to the singing, she's absolutely incredible in the film. And from what I have heard, and I looked this thing up, apparently her and Cynthia Erivo insist on performing the musical bits live. Good on them because, man, those bits, I'll get into later by the way, were fantastic. Jonathan Bailey, I thought was great in this film, and not to mention as well, there are certain bits where he really, honest to God, sometimes does steal the show from even Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. Like, Jonathan Bailey is a stand on this film. Anything that Jeff Goldblum does, I love, and he was such a delight when I saw him on that screen. Something else in particular that I loved about this movie was John Chu's directing. Like I mentioned to you guys earlier, I have not seen the stage play and I have not read the book, but it is very, very clear from the moment that this movie starts, like from the opening shot, that John M. Chu loves the source material and he loves it. He adores the source material. The love and the passion that he has for the characters and the story, and given that this movie, I feel like does fill in a lot of gaps where I've heard him say, this is a guy that has a lot of passion, and the way that he moves the camera, cinematographer Alice Brooks, by the way, which I do want to mention right now, when it comes down to that cinematography, this movie, I will mention this later on, but this movie is beautifully shot, and I want to mention something later on that I genuinely didn't understand, but that's being saved later on. But anyways, knowing that he directed In the Heights, which is a fantastic musical, by the way, knowing how he directed the musical numbers and the choreography, John M. Chu did such a wonderful job in this movie. Knowing this movie is a musical, there's a couple of important questions to ask here. One of which is this: the musical numbers, how are they? Freaking tastic. Each musical number has such style, flair, pizzazz. They're fun. They're electrifying, especially Defying Gravity. That musical number, oh my God, was it incredible. There is one particular number that I will not lie to you guys. It got me. Something else in particular that I loved about this movie, and this is something that I've seen a lot of people critiquing, and I don't understand it. This movie, if you ask me, is a beautifully shot film. I mean, this movie is such a colorful movie that, I mean, seriously, how do people... Did I watch the same movie as the rest of the world out there? I'm genuinely shocked that people think that this movie is a bad-looking movie or a gray-looking film. Did people not see how this movie boasts some genuinely vibrant and beautiful colors that bounce? Shiz University looked amazing. The Emerald City looked incredible. I mean, guys, when it comes down to the color palette and the cinematography, this movie is a genius-looking movie. I don't understand why people are saying this movie looks dull, because this movie looks far from dull. As a matter of fact, it looks amazing. This movie looks great, and once again, a big budget used very, very well. $150 million was spent very, very wise, and once again, a movie that uses its big budget for good reasons. It's not just having a big budget because, you know, we got a big budget. The most important thing is this: the songs, the music. Is the songs, and that didn't make any sense, are the music and songs catchy in this movie? Yes. There are, I want to say, one or two tracks at least this movie that I can easily see playing in my car as I drive. Like, there are some really good musical numbers, and if the movie does that, especially a musical, if a musical does that, a movie wins. This movie win for me on that factor alone. Abso-freaking-lutely yes. One more thing that I do want to say: how this movie ends, terrific ending. Enough said.
Well, that's just fucking great!
Oh boy. Okay, so I feel like I have to tread lightly because I know that there are a lot of people out there, especially fans of the musical, that might rush me and might say some stuff in the comments we're about to say, but just know that I'm being honest with you guys what I'm about to say, because I like this movie. Do I consider this movie to be a musical masterpiece or an absolutely amazing film or one of the best films of the year for that matter? I do not, as I do have some issues with this movie that do hold it back from really, it could have been one of the best films of the year for me, but there are some issues that hold it back. The fact that this movie, for really a good majority of it, it is set up because here's the thing. This movie is, well, it's a part one of a part two. It's a two-part musical. And here's the thing, guys. I want to say, a majority of the film, at least half of it, a lot of this movie is set up. I mean, a lot of it is set up. Is that setup entertaining? Yeah, it's entertaining, but at the same time, a lot of it still feels like it's filler or just padded out because Wicked, I mean, it's a long thing. I don't know why it was padded out to be feature length and why there's a part two, because here's the thing. I can imagine there are some things in the play that there are some gaps in time in terms of story that they wanted to fill it in the film for, for story's sake or character's sake. And that brings me to the next part, guys. Wicked is almost 3 hours long. Yes, and by the way, one thing, and this is just a part one of a two-part musical. Did this movie need to be nearly that long? Absolutely not. This movie, I feel it could have been trimmed down like a good at least 30, maybe even 40 minutes. If Wicked Part 1 was around 2 hours, maybe around the 2 hour and 10 minute mark, I feel this movie would have been much better paced and been a more streamlined product. This movie was so entertaining still. I was still invested the entire time, but I have to say this, and I have to be honest with you guys, Wicked Part 1 didn't have to be nearly 3 hours long, especially knowing that the actual stage play is only 2 hours and 45 minutes. This is a movie in which it does take, at least for me and how I felt about this movie, I feel like it took a while. I mean, it took a while to get to where it actually finds its footing. Once Wicked Part 1 gets to a certain bit, this movie does full to me. It picks so much up. And once it gets to that ending, the ending of this movie is freaking brilliant. I feel like it took a bit to actually get there. It took a little bit to get there.
And here we go.
So overall, while I do feel that it's a bit too long and quite a bit of it is set up because, well, it is a part one, Wicked Part 1 is nonetheless a colorful, entertaining, and engaging musical that has incredible performances, terrific musical numbers, with some fantastic directing. How this movie ends, count me in for part 2. I'm really looking forward to seeing how part 2 goes. All in all, I'm going to give Wicked Part 1 a 3.75 out of 5. If you love The Wizard of Oz, if you love the Wicked stage play, the book, or if you just love musicals, check this movie out. It is a good time, and it is a good time for the whole family. I hope you all enjoyed my review of Wicked or Wicked Part 1. If so, please hit the like button, or if you dislike the review, hit the dislike button. If you guys want to see my previous 2 reviews, please click it right there or right there. And of course, until my next review or video goes live, I will see you all next time.